I want to talk about something that I do not like in role-playing games, and that is healing. Mega healing, super healing. Oh, look at me. Immediately I'm gone from someone who wouldn't survive, looks like they've been mangled in a car wreck, to someone who is in perfect fine shape. Now, divine healing and all of that and such, and you want to continue on with the game and so forth, but it really undermines the brutality and savageness of combat. Now, I like to go into vivid, grotesque detail and descriptions of how horrendous the scenes in combat are going to be, how badly things happen to you, how the sword feels as it goes into you, how your blood pours from your body, how you piss yourself because your bladder has just been punctured and it's just rolling all down out of your stomach area, and how your intestines are hanging from your body and they've been punctured, and the smell of fecal matters in the air. I'll go on and on and on, and I'll keep really describing in vivid detail because it is utterly horrifying when someone is swinging weapons at you to maim, sunder, and kill you, to just rip you to pieces with their desire. I like the idea of characters with taped up ribs, bashed up armor, half dead, hauling themselves back into town. And this is after one combat. I don't like 8,000 combats a day. That doesn't make any kind of sense. You would be so absurdly insane after that, because your post-traumatic stress level would just be off the chart, and your mind would have just snapped because you're fighting monsters that want to kill and eat you. And in the real world, just going to combat and having people that only just want to kill you, and not even for personal reasons, is a lot less stressful than what your D&D characters are trouncing through, having undead monsters and minotaurs and all sorts of other horrible things, dragon's breath, all this coming at them. They're horrendously damaged. I like to have a little combat, but I don't like when boom, you can get off it and just have all that healing. And 4th edition, another thing that I do hate about 4th edition, I do hate 4th edition, is healing surges. Oh, that's right, brother. The Hulkster's hulking up now, and the Hulkster's got 96 extra hit points. Brother, what you gonna do with Hulk Hogan and his healing surges went wild on you, dude? And that's essentially what healing surges are. They're hulking up. This works if you're playing Hulk Hogan. It does not work if you're attempting to play a standard fantasy game. Watch, fantasy game. It just doesn't fucking retarded. It's retarded. It's just choke somebody stupid. And I don't like that. If you're playing like a wrestler class, something like that might be kind of neat and cool. But just overall, I can't stand it. In fact, just when you lay down, it's like, oh, no, lay down and get like 95 hit points back. No, in my game, I give your ass 1 hit point back. Maybe if you stay at like a really nice place and you're all on leisure and you're being attended to, maybe I'll give your constitution bonus back in hit points. I ain't giving you no massive amount because I like you being beat up and battered and remembering and having the impact of what we just did set in on you because you can't do anything now. And when you're taking damage, I'm going to describe you, alright, you barely even walk now. If you walk around in my game with like 4 or 5 hit points left and you're not selling, it's going to be bad. And the last game I played, just last night with Gentleman Gamer, I was down to 7 hit points out of only like 43, so not that horrible percentage. At the end of combat, I'm falling back, hitting the wall, I'm selling their ribs. I'm trying to hoist the guy up, and I'm like, ugh. Of course, we're playing over Skype, so a lot of my facials, the guys aren't seeing. But, I'm really going into my own mindset of how much pain the Golden Dreamthorn is in at that time, having to deal with all this injury that's been put upon him. Because that's the mindset you should be in to experience the full effect of what the game is. And it takes so much of the romantic aspect of the game out because you're not making sacrifice. And sacrifice is something that's cool, it's something that's romantic, it's something that's interesting that allows to have additional depth and dynamic to your character, and you're deprived of that when it's 3d8 plus 10. You're like, oh, I'm just straight in them all right now. No, son, that's not even how it's supposed to go down. Not this time around. Believe that with your mind and let it ruminate around in your piece until it settles in. Because that just isn't how things would go down. Really, and you've heard me talk about this before, my litmus test is, could I see this on a TV show? And if I did, I'd be like, ooh, is this written by Michael Hirsch for an episode of Hercules? That was straight butt. And if it comes off straight butt, I don't want it. And I do not like just sitting down and resting up from having, like, your arm broken. It's like, well, my arm was broken yesterday, but I'm straight today. That doesn't make any sense. And before people try to come back, no. Get around with your monkey ass. There's not going to be any abiding of the court of comments. And you're healing like 95 hit points in 14 minutes. That's practically regeneration of what you have in the game. It's just absolutely absurd. I cannot abide it, nor should I abide it, and neither should you. I really dislike that aspect, particularly in D&D, and a lot of other games take that, where you just heal somebody and, it's just straight. And that's something that I have curtailed and tweaked in quite a few ways. And one good way of doing that is, you really are going to have to go for that divine magic because, in my game, if you had 100 hit points and you're down to 1, it might be 3 months until you're healed back up to a satisfactory level. And I think that makes perfect sense, that it should be that way, that it makes you actually have to pause and think, because in a fantasy game, the threat of combat is awesome. It's a great tool, but if the threat of combat means nothing, you've lost the mystique. Less is more, and when you just have that overwhelming 4 encounters a day, you're a fucking idiot. You're just fucking stupid. Please don't try to rebut running 4 combats a day against me, because it's just dumb. It doesn't make any sense, and from a psychological level, your players would all be mentally just push. And if that's the kind of thing you want to do, just play WoW on the computer, because that's not really what role-playing games are about. Role-playing games are about taking that experience and putting it right over your face and really just delving into it. Going, yes, I can believe and feel what my character's feeling. I can get into that. I can experience it and express it. And, if tactically you're worse off, that's fine. You got to sell a little bit. And then come up with it on your own, man. And that you'll really impress your party. If you play in a group where people don't do that, I'll go in groups of scrubs and play with them all the time. I actually don't play with the browser, but in a poor quality game. And I'll go in there and I'll start coming up with, okay, well, this and that happened, in the combat, and I'm over here, I'm like selling my leg, and they're just like, what are you doing at first? And then they start getting with it, and then they all start getting into character, and it starts building up, and then the game master sits over there, and I look at the corner of my eye, and eventually he'll just be smiling as they're getting like 15 minutes out of role playing, and we're just me grabbing my knee, and just going, not in a Peter Griffin way either, not in a funny comical way, but just like, and like kind of selling it, and just talking to them, and trying to say, oh, I'm gonna need a hand up, or I'm selling my ribs, like. And I'm talking about what happened in the combat, because now we're just taking what happened and we've brought it back and we've gotten more value out of it. Don't push your game master. A lot of times people eat game masters up and you burn them out because it's like, give me more, give me more, give me more, give me more, give me more. The game master's giving you all this stuff here. Take it and bring it forward and bring it back and use it again. Use that combat over here. Bring it back 3 game sessions. I remember we fought those insane Darrow. The one broke one of my ribs and punctured internal organ, I think. It was bleeding. I don't know anything about internal organs other than I've seen lots of them come out because I've killed plenty of people. And, I'm very, very scared of Darrow, and then you can sell more and selling more, getting into allowing yourself to have just a tiny inkling of fear in there, man. That can really pump up and make a game session hot. And when you think about that Warhammer not as a D8 points of damage, but the goddamn Warhammer, think of someone was swinging a Warhammer at you and they had just connected once already with full force and crushed your shoulder. That would be scary. Put yourself in that mindset. Don't look at it as a D8 punch of damage. Don't look at it as something you're just going to rest up and heal. And that's why I don't like the healing system. That's why I really despise healing surges, because they take away the meaning of damage. Damage should mean something. It should be a sacrifice. It should be something you really want to avoid. And that's something I would challenge you all to think about for any of your role-playing games that you're using any kind of healing in, particularly if you have an extremely fast healing rate. And the healing rate in 3.5 D&D, as much as I love it and champion it, is utter shit. Like, it just doesn't make any degree of logical sense. It's indefensible. Utterly indefensible. Somebody gets knocked from 80 to 1 hit point, they're destroyed. Their body is broken. Or 80 to like -3 hit points, their body is destroyed. Broken bones abound, and that's something, again, throw it on your players. Oh yeah, you got you got knocked to like 7 hit points. Oh yeah, you got a broken arm, and your knees all kinds of messed up now. Particularly if there's no divine healing there again. DM carte blanche. Get what you need, and the players, they'll get with that. They'll respect that, and they'll respect the weapon. Yeah, that guy, and sell. Always sell, man. I gotta say it more and more. Always sell, because you don't want to be the guy that doesn't sell, because that's just a jack for him. And for you too, if you're thinking.